Folks, my message is quite simple. If you haven't exercised today, exercise here with me right now on startbuilding.me. It's my nightly training session to get you into the habit of training every day, because training and exercise is mandatory, folks. Like eating, sleeping, drinking water, going to work or going to school, you have to exercise every day, no ifs, no buts. However, the fitness industry has led you astray to believe that you have to go and train in spandex for 2 hours a day. You do not have to do that, folks. You just have to get your heart rate up a bit, let it fall back down, a little bit of blood pressure increase, a little bit of blood pressure decrease, and then you can call it a night. I'm usually here for 15-20 minutes. I did my workout today on the chin-up bar, which is my main form of exercise for grip strength, as well as rock climbing, cycling and jogging, boxing on my boxing bag, and some other bits and pieces which I will get into in time, like diets and supplementation, all that fun stuff. But for now, my nightly training sessions are strictly to show you how to form a habit, a healthy habit. Yes, I mean healthy as in it's exercise and trying to get you into a good diet, but a healthy habit meaning that you should enjoy doing this. It shouldn't be something that you see as some massive chore. It's something that, like me now, what's 15-30 minutes for me to practice in front of the camera and try and enunciate things clearly so you can understand me, something that is new to me, and having to try to communicate clearly since I am no longer in a corporate environment and don't have to do it for a living. So you get lazy over the time, and here I am having to relearn how to do live presentation stuff. Anyway, I love exercise and you will too. It will improve your life in so many ways. As I always say, it is too stupid to go through them right now, and an enormous waste of time. If you don't believe that exercise is essential for your well-being and improving your life, you're wrong. That simple. Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to do some box squats right now because I like my yellow box. I am all about aesthetics, folks, so it's really cool to have this back in the house. Indeed, good to see you, Ben. Good to have a few. Mate, I have a pretty good feeling it was a soldering iron inside the garage and the fan blowing whilst banging drum and bass all day that contributed towards the headaches that I was experiencing. I didn't have a run today, which I hit myself with a percussive massager instead. And hey, I'll make up for it now getting a few squats out. So what am I doing here, folks? I'm sitting down and I'm standing back up. That's called a squat in its most basic form. People are used to seeing it with barbells at the gym. You don't have to do it. It's called an unweighted squat, and variants of it like a Hindu squat, where whilst you're sitting down, you're raising your heels off the ground, which is better for your knees, but we'll get into that later. Classic headache culprit, exactly. The old labbery-do. I think you're probably aware of that one. Not sure if there's any great solvents that you're using that maybe you can hook us up with in here in the community. Just joking, folks, those days for me are over. But they were great days, I'm not going to lie to you. Hey, Jazzercise, good to see you in the house. So, in its most basic form, the squat. Let's do a few and I'll explain it whilst I do some. I'll try and get some numbers out to try and get a benchmark for myself. And it looks like that. You're sitting down onto something and going back up. But try not to sit down, just try to park your butt on it. As we say in weight training, 1 second down, 0 seconds on the bottom, 1 second up. From the side, it looks a little bit like this. Now the weight's going to the outside of my feet. By going to the outside of my feet, your feet form an arch. That's how you get strength. Arches, as you know, in architecture as well, is how you get strength. If you didn't have that arch pin in, how everything collapses, that's what happens to your knee as well, folks. That's why you really want to focus on sitting back into your heels, weight going to the outside of your feet and back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. take a load off, take a breather. I've done a lot of chin-ups today, feels good. Didn't get that much sun, which is half the reason why I'm not a scattered, jittering mess. I mean, I am, but that's generally from my career as an amateur boxer, bouncer, alcoholic, which is why I've got so much good advice for Start Building Me, folks. You live and learn, live through experiences, and you've got to take the bitter with the sweet. I put it to you that the people who learn the most are the people who throw themselves at life and realize that you can make mistakes. I'm going to be very obvious. I'm going to be very honest with my mistakes. I think kids need to hear the truth. People who are starting exercise need to hear the truth. Recovery people, addicts trying to get back into training and get a healthy habit will know the truth as well. And so I'm all about an open forum, trying to explain to people the do's and don'ts, for me at least, and mistakes that I've made, how to overcome it, how to get back into training. Because I mean, you fall into the gutter, this is the way to get back up, folks, and it can be very slow, like a single squat. And if you haven't done a single squat yesterday and you've just done one now, congratulations, you've done one squat. You've done another squat, 2 squats. Now, as I always say every night, the numbers are arbitrary, right? So how many I do is relevant to you. You've got to find out what is relevant to you. Now, as I said, that could be 1 squat right now. And you could really think about it. Line up those feet. You want your big toes lined up. If you don't, when you start squatting, your body twists like that, and that's how you get all kinds of damage, folks. So, although, as I always say, I am not a form stickler, I'm always trying to keep things, as I see it all, without symmetry here, as symmetrical as possible. So maybe just do a preacher so I won't look so ridiculous. If my one finger's slightly off, it looks very weird. Create some sort of optical parallax. Anyway, feet together, lined up, look up, breathe in. Breathe out on the way out. Take it easy. Take another one. Like a bellows, as I say. If you're an old dust collecting codger like me, you'll understand what a bellows is. Or if you're some sci fantasy nerd, you'll know probably what they are when you see blacksmiths using them to heat up the fire when they're forging steel. It's just like an air pump, like the annoying Harley Davidson engine design, which is based off an air pump that makes a phenomenal amount of noise when I'm trying to train outside. I'm basically like the Gran Torino character, Clint Eastwood, just like yelling at people. Old man yells at sky. What is it, The Simpsons? Old man yells at cloud. Anyway, I'll try and do a few squats now as well. So I'll try and rep out 10 because I find 10 pretty easy to do. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get in the blood pumping through my system, specifically into my quadriceps, my hamstrings, my glute muscles, my lower back, all things that give you core stability. As I was saying with push-ups and with chin-ups today, you'll realize your glutes have a massive impact in your core stability, which will help you with your squats, they'll help you with your push-ups, they'll help you with your pull-ups. The holy trinity of exercises, folks. If you can master those 3 exercises, you don't need to do anything else. If you do some walking, bike riding, jogging, very, very light, intermediate heart rate up to 120 if you've got an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or a Garmin or any of those Sunto watches that have your heart rate monitor strapped on it, you'll see basically what your work rate is. Your heart rate range should be between 120 to 140 BPM for your cardiovascular sessions. To put it into perspective, that's double time for me. So when you're walking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You can just double time it effectively and, you know, casually. You're not supposed to be sprinting or anything like that. Just have a bit of a casual walk it up. Do some of these at night, and like I said, you don't have to do them here with me on Start Building Me. Now, I love an audience. I'm a clown. As they say, a clown is only a clown with an audience, and I am one of the biggest clowns out there, folks. So come around, like and subscribe. Like I said, you'll learn something from me, I guarantee it. Even athletes will learn something from me. I know this for a fact because I train with athletes, folks. And I used to be a competitive athlete myself, but now I am a dust collecting old codger, like I said, and yeah, I just want people to stay off my lawn. Is that too much to ask? Anyway, let's do a few more squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, what I've noticed here when my technique is good, I really feel my hamstrings fire up and get some good tension when they come in contact with the box. That means I'm getting that good coordination through my posterior chain. And folks, your posterior chain, these three muscles here, enormous power comes from these muscles. So if you just get some basic coordination in those, you'll get some mad strength. And I'm not one to get those big dump truck style legs and, you know, hindquarters like so many people want. I think it's kind of counterproductive because it just means you're carrying a whole bunch of extra weight. For what? Like if you're a track sprinter or a cycle track sprinter or a rugby player or a sprint, what do they call it? Ice skater. Like those dudes have massive legs as well. There might be some utility for you. I find I get good utility out of my chicken legs and I can sustain some pretty heavy squats and they're good for me. So 10 more squats for me. Sitting back into my heels, weight going to the outside of my feet because that's what an arch in your foot is supposed to be doing. The weight drives into the ground through your toes, the outside of your feet, in your heels, and you sit back. I'm going to use this way, the old prayer. I think it looks a little bit more symmetrical. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, I've got the blood pumping in through my legs. Feels good, folks. You don't have to go for broke. You can do 5 in that time. You can do 1 in that time. That's what I'm always stressing to you folks. And not stressing, that's a bad word. Trying to convey to you that you are competing against yourself and your performance yesterday. If all you got is 1, 1's good enough for me. And then just, you know, shake it off, something like that. If you've got your box, what you can do is you can stand on it, and stretching is dynamic. So instead of just stretching and holding like is old school, you sort of do this. And work, instead of it being isometric, isometric's good for strength. If you're going between flex and extension, you'll be working the muscle in a shape that is going to help you get more flexibility in that muscle. So give that a shot. If you're doing in between sets, if you're feeling some tightness in your hips, hip flexors, that's why I find the percussive massager is really good to. I was just going to town on myself. Well, Keith freaked out and ran out of the room. Rightly so, but that was after he gave my head a good polishing for good measure, like the Buddha. Instead of the belly, it's my head. So, yeah, so there'll be a lot of good luck in this house today. Anyway, let's get some more in. Yeah, not quite. I'm trying to lose muscle mass at the moment, but we'll see. It's I'd like to be svelte. 1, 2, if you've got a chair, 3, this will help you. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The reason I'm doing this is to show people that it's a really good benchmark to, you know, drop down, touch your butt on the box, and go back up. So you don't sit on it. You can sit on it if you want, or you can do reverses. So sitting down, standing up, and then sitting back down. And that will get you basically into the same sort of motion as well, folks, which might help you out, especially if you're a novice to this. But you won't be for long, especially if you like and subscribe and come back every now and then. You'll see it pop up. Even if you don't come, just stand up in front of your video console, your desk, work, whatever you are, and hey, do this. Preach your curls, sitting back into your heels, breathe in, and breathe out on the way back up. All we're trying to do, folks, is do the bare minimum. It is extremely concerning to me as a data analyst who has done secondary and primary healthcare data across the world for almost 20 years that people just don't exercise anymore. And people are like, oh, I do. It's like, well, cool. That's awesome. And I really mean that. Like, whatever it is that you do, that puts you into the top percentile of the human population that post-industrialization have just seemed to think that we don't need to exercise anymore, folks. Through my darkest times in life, exercise has pulled me out of that rut. So for the mental health aspect alone, is what I'm stressing it for. So many people are depressed, they're underutilized. This is one way to get utility in life. Just keeping your body alive, right? Just keeping your body occupied, doing the bare minimum during the day will literally give you a self-satisfaction feeling. I've seen it in people I train. I've seen it in people who I used to do competitive sports with. That's why people get so bummed when they lose a game, because the opposite is you win the game and you're elated. You have an enormous amount of excitement. What I'm trying to explain to people is that you can get that same effect of euphoria without competitive sport. You just need to train like an athlete. And to train like an athlete is just comparing your performance today versus how it was yesterday. You want to get a trend line going up over time. Trend lines are not straight lines unless they're doctored and a yield curve fitted like the Federal Reserve does in finance, which is total baloney, which is why the finance system is collapsing at the moment. Stay tuned, D7B, if you want more information on Twitter. But basically, a trajectory is a scatter plot, so you can go up and go down. There'll be times you don't want to train. That's cool. I'm trying to get you into the habit. I'm not saying you have to be here every night militantly for 30 minutes. It's not like that. Come here, don't even come here, and stand in front of your desk and do that. Stand, even as a good exercise, you'll see Start Building Me pop up on Twitch, which is obviously where I'm watching chats. I should be looking at the multi-stream, but who cares about YouTube? I'll probably, joke about the lizard people and they'll cut me off anyway, so I may as well stick with Twitch for the time being. And you might, be typing, playing some Counter-Strike Go, playing whatever game it is you're playing, the new Modern Warfare, whatever that may be, and you would just stand up and sit back down. Now, folks, guess what that is? That's exercise. It's that simple. And then what you can be doing is you can be shifting your feet and trying to see how that affects you, standing up and sitting back down. That's exercise, folks. That's what we don't do anymore. This is what I'm trying to get you into the habit of. If you train already, cool. Go and train. Like I said, I love an audience, but you don't need to be here. If you've got a habit, that's cool, and you will undoubtedly know the benefits. But if you know people who don't train, people who are afraid to train, people who get bullied for trying to train because they're overweight, I want those people to come here, because I don't want those people to be put off by jackasses in spandex in fancy gyms. That's so counterproductive. I want people to get into this because it will definitely improve their life, like it definitely has improved my life. Now, I've done for squats today. Everything's feeling limber. I'm going to do some push-ups, so I will go down to my push-up cam and show you some variations of push-ups. So wherever I get my cursor back, where has it gone? There it is. Camera 2, and here we are. So, as I explain every night, if you cannot do a push-up, folks, again, ignore what people say. A push-up can be done off your knees as well, right? It's probably scary, probably looking at my nostrils going so close. So I'll try and get some separation from the camera, and that is a push-up as well, folks. If you cannot do a strict push-up like that, you can do them off your knees, right? That looks a little bit crooked. I'm a little bit crooked as well, so it balances out, hopefully. So what you can do is you can do push-ups off your knees, folks. You can even do it at a right angle like this. So I was walking out my hands to make it a little bit more intense, but you can, if you've never done this before and you've got no upper body strength, just lean onto your hands basically, right? So you put in a bit more pressure, walking that weight over 90 degrees, not that much, and just put in weight on your hands and trying to straighten your wrists. You might have tension in your wrists because you've never done it before, and then just hold on it, just groove on it for a bit and stay there. Now, if you're beyond that and you've got a bit more upper body strength, you can walk your body out like that, and you can do a few push-ups like that. Don't have your arms out wide like that. You're just going to load up your shoulder and damage the joint. The push-up is best performed close. Don't chicken wing your arms out. Like I said, have them alongside your body. And when you're pushing with your tricep, that massive muscle in the back of your arm. By doing so, it takes a while to readjust to get the technique down. But the tricep has obviously 3 heads in that muscle, very short, very hard to damage muscle. Enormous strength. I can do tricep dips with small people on my back, right? It's a really strong muscle, hard to damage. So when you're doing push-ups and you're integrating that muscle in, once you get the core form, like again, as I always say, by pinching your butt, sounds stupid, but really try and pinch your butt when you're doing that as well. Same applies when you're doing a normal push-up. By pinching your butt, you're going to get core stability and you're going to be able to do more of them, folks. And it's just like a plank with movement, basically. How many do you have to do? As I always say, the number is arbitrary, folks. How many you can do is what we're trying to establish. If you can do one, and you didn't do one yesterday, again, I sound like a broken record. It's not just the brain damage, it's because I'm trying to drill this point into people's minds that we're just trying to get a benchmark down for you, trying to get you into the habit, folks. Ask as many questions you want at startbuilding.me on Twitter, at startbuilding.me on Instagram, and startbuilding.me on Facebook. Shoot me messages all day. I have a million things to talk about and a million different businesses that I'm working with at the moment as well. So, but I'm always on my computer, always happy to ask questions because this is my life, folks. It improves my life in more ways than I can poke a stick at. And like I said, it's just too stupid for words to try and have an argument with somebody about how this improves your life. It just does, period. It's a fact. Anybody with a brain in their head will not dispute the benefits of exercise and be extremely concerned about anybody who is trying to tell you that it is not important to do exercise to be healthy or get some sort of routine mobility. Walking, just walking, folks, that's all it takes. Now I'm going to bust out a few push-ups for me because I didn't do any running today, so I'm going to try and do some. Try and benchmark some for myself. Fingers spread, get yourself a stable platform. If you have your hands close together, what are we? Like some sort of seal? Like forget it. You have fingers that gives you a stronger platform if you're sending that signal through to your brain that you're doing something that requires some coordination and tension. So, hey, Ronan Sports, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. And if you train, awesome, and you might be able to benefit. And if not, hopefully you will form a habit with us at Start Building Me, because folks, like I said, a bad day becomes a good day when I exercise. A bout of depression or anxiety becomes good when I exercise as well. So just from the mental health aspect of it, there is a reason why I'm trying to get everyone in on it. Like I said, if you exercise, cool, congratulations. send any newcomer, rookie, or somebody who just needs to exercise my way, and I'll help them get into the habit. I'm going to bust out some push-ups, and if you can do some push-ups, either off your knees or strictly do them with me. As I said, feet together, pinch your butt, looking up, arms close in, don't chicken wing your arms out, don't have your arms out over here. You're trying to activate your triceps, which will give you more push-ups. Spread your fingers, send that message through to your brain that you're doing something heavy, look up, and don't forget to breathe. Breathing's so important, folks. Look, as I joke about, breathing won't be free forever. As long as carbon scores come in, we might have to start paying for breathing. The biggest novice mistake that people make, i.e. somebody that's learning something, is they seize up and they stop breathing when they're doing it. This is the single biggest mistake that you can make, because by continuing to breathe, you'll find that instantly your performance will go up like 100%. If you stop breathing, you're gonna quickly fade. If you continue breathing and really focus on that breathing, something I've seen with people that I've trained for 20 years now, is all of a sudden they'll double whatever output they had and get cracking. So look, folks, breathe. And also in between, I'm talking because I'm trying to talk people and get my message out as much as I can in my 30 minutes here, 3 minutes left. Like I said, like and subscribe. Any newcomers, I'm trying to be the most positive source for fitness on any of these platforms here, folks, because people are really getting led astray as to what is important for exercise, and it can be quick, easy, and it can be enjoyable, and that's what I'm trying to get out. Provided you can handle my high-pitched nasal voice. If you can, sweet. And don't forget, I'm always on Twitter at startbuilding.me if you want to ask any questions or follow any of my trades and finance stuff. That's at D7B on Twitter. But if you're more into the exercise side of things, stay around. Because, man, I live to train, I train to live. As I have been saying more and more recently, I am tensing my butt now to try and increase the amount of repetitions I can get, and breathing, and taking a load off. Your body will not work if you don't work your body. It's that simple. Sometimes I say it the other way around. It doesn't matter. The message is there. You have to work your body, folks, or your body just doesn't work. It works okay, The best thing about the human body is that it is awesome. It's miraculous in how it works. Where this set of filters, where people give so much credit to doctors, all doctors do is keep us sterile. When you have a car crash and you get dismembered, they just basically put you back into place and your body heals itself. It is amazing, right? But you can improve the functionality of your body just by doing this, keeping the filters clean, drinking water, flushing this water through your system, cleaning your blood, which goes through your liver, goes through your kidneys, eating fiber, which will clean out your digestive system, some base vitamins and minerals, which are literally in pretty much everything you eat. That's why supplementation really isn't that important. And just be mindful of all this stuff, right? Instead of just putting it into the too hard basket, the only character in any video game that means anything is this one right here. This bag of bones that has my brain inside it is the one that you have for the rest of your life. You may as well look after it, folks. It's the game that doesn't end, and I mean, when it does end, it's totally game over. So I'm trying to be really positive in getting people into it, because it is crazy. When I've trained people for like 2-3 months, the difference, not only in their appearance, but in how their their whole mental well-being and their self-esteem goes up. It's such a quick process, folks, and so many people don't realize how quick it is if you do dedicate yourself to it, form the habit, do it consistently in the bare minimum form like this. You'll change your life, and like, it's a guarantee, folks. Like they say, the only guarantees in life are death and taxes. Well, I'll put it to you as well that exercise is another guarantee that it will improve the quality of your life without question. So bang out a few push-ups, sets of 5, sets of 10. Try not to do them till failure. Get some blood pumping through your arms, chest, shoulders, and breathe the sweet elixir of life, air. So it's something that people neglect. Breathe. Try to follow what I say, not what I do, as I ramble out here incoherently like a madman and forget to breathe myself. I'll try and take a breath in between. Now that's 31 minutes on the clock, folks. I'm going to do one more set and then I'm going to bounce. I hope you guys are going to have a good day wherever you are in the world. I really strongly recommend that you always subscribe and like the channel, whatever platform you're on. Ask me questions and come back, especially if you don't train or if you're trying to get a little bit more of a serious habit down. Man, like I said, all you have to do is devote some time for it. The only thing in life, they say the best things in life are free. Oh man, who was that? Janet Jackson or something? Whatever. Anyways, take it easy. I'm going to do 10 more and let's get out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To quote the world champion boxer from the 80s in Australia, Jeff Fennick, I love yous all. Seriously, this is the best part of my day, being able to cast out and speak to people all around the world, whatever state and shape they're in. Have a good night, folks, and see you tomorrow for my training session.